This video will show you how to change an XAD tube sample in the field. These are some of the parts that you will need for this changeover. You have 2 pairs of gloves, tongs, a Robertson screwdriver, a marking pen, 2 XAD samples, and your sampling tube, which will be set up in the field prior to this. Remember these rules every time you change a sample. Always use new, clean gloves when changing a sample. Always use a clean set of forceps when putting on a new sample. Do not use the same forceps to remove a completed sample and installing a new sample. Label the sample transport containers with the date and time of installation and removal. The first step is to locate the Robertson screw that holds the sample lid in place. You'll see there's a small hole in the lid casing that you'll use the Robertson screwdriver to remove the screw. Once you remove the screw, you can remove the sample head quite easily. Take note, inside the sample lid there are 3 hooks. The 2 outer hooks will be used to hold the sample tubes. Inside the sample tube, please note that halfway up the tube there is a wire mesh. The sample tubes must go in between those wire mesh, or the sample tubes will be knocked out of the housing lid. To install the XAD tubes, first unwrap the XAD tube, unplug the stopper, and inside you will see the XAD tube with a small clip at the top. Using your fingers, gently remove the XAD tube slightly. Use the lid and clip into the lid. Set it aside and install the second tube. Unwrap, unplug. Again, the clip is at the top. You can use your fingers to gently remove it. Clip it into the lid. Slowly withdraw the tubes. And gently place into the sampler. If you find it difficult to remove the sample tube from the holder, you can use a clean pair of tongs to gently remove the tube. Be careful not to destroy or crack the sample tube as you pull it out. Insert the XAD tubes into the sampler, being careful to make sure the tubes go in between the wire mesh. As well, be sure that the screw hole aligns with the hole on the sampler. Once you've put the sample tubes in place, secure the lid down using the screw. The sample will be placed in the field for exactly 12 months. Remember these rules every time you change a sample. Always use new, clean gloves when changing a sample. Always use a clean set of forceps when putting on a new sample. Do not use the same forceps to remove a completed sample and installing a new sample. Label the sample transport containers with the date and time of installation and removal. After 12 months of sampling, remove the sample tubes by unscrewing the screw holding the lid in place. Gently lift up the sample lid. Be sure that the bottoms of the XAD tubes do not get caught on the wire mesh halfway down the sampler. After you have removed the sample tubes, place them back into their original sample tubes that were used to transport them. Replug and re-tape. The sample caps. When you remove the samples, be sure to put the date off and the time that was taken off. Remember these rules every time you change a sample. Always use new, clean gloves when changing a sample. Always use a clean set of forceps when putting on a new sample. Do not use the same forceps to remove a completed sample and installing a new sample. Label the sample transport containers with the date and time of installation and removal.